The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 769. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have an amazing lady on the show today. She's a live video hype queen, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Stephanie Liu. Stephanie, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more by yourself to the listeners.
Of course. I'm doing outstanding today. It's been a hectic day, but it's one of those where I'm like, man, this is going to be the fun stuff because we get to talk about self-confidence. That's good. So everyone, as Sheena mentioned, I'm Stephanie Liu. I'm an ad agency veteran. I spent the last decade and a half deep in the trenches of agency life. So I've been helping Fortune 500 brands and small businesses leverage social media to show up on camera. That way they could increase their impact and their influence and income using social media.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Stephanie, what's your cultural background?
I'm a first-generation Filipino-American.
Thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Oh, one of my favorite ones that I always like to remind myself, it's something that I've actually had on my iPhone as a wallpaper for a very long time. And it's by Robert Tu. And it's respect yourself enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you, grows you, or makes you happy.
Thanks for sharing that great quote. And yeah, it's true. Sometimes we have to learn to walk away. But, like growing up as in an Asian household, like we're always just like doing what we're told. And sometimes that doesn't serve us because we are in situations that we feel like we can't get out of and we feel uncomfortable doing because, we've been programmed to just do as we're told. But as women, we have to realize like what's right for us and what isn't right for us. And the more we're aware of that, the more we can say, like you mentioned, no to the things that don't serve you. So thanks for sharing that great quote. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
I think when it comes to self-confidence, when you're congruent in your thoughts and your actions, when you know what your values are and how you're able to prioritize your thoughts and your actions off of that, then that's what's really going to build your self-confidence. Because then you know what you stand for versus adopting somebody else's limiting beliefs.
Thanks for sharing that great definition. And Stephanie, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Well, kind of like what you were saying before about where you're learning from others, learning their programming. One thing that I was raised with was always getting external validation from others and always having to get like their approval for whether or not I did a good job. And that was just kind of suffocating, I guess you could say.
Thanks for sharing that. I know that's something we all go through, especially as Asian women, like seeking that external validation, whether it's from our friends or parents, society, family members. Like we feel like we're not good enough unless someone tells us we're doing a good job or, like we do something outstanding that's society standards where it's getting straight A's or having the fancy house. It's like we feel like we have to keep putting up this mask, not realizing like we're just more than enough, just being who we are. And what was that point in your life when you realized you can be who you are today and have that confidence? What was that aha moment?
The aha moment for me was after I had my daughter. I was probably like still 20 pounds overweight. And it wasn't until I went to a conference where we were talking about our business goals. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do live video after I lose the weight because, I'm not going to buy myself any new clothes. And I think when I actually said that out loud, I was like, oh my gosh, why are you being so mean to yourself? Why don't you just celebrate the fact that your body did this amazing thing and gave birth to another human being and she's healthy and all of that. And I was like, wow, I just need to be more respectful to myself and not say things to myself that I wouldn't let other people say to my best friend.
Thanks for sharing that. And that's great you're able to share that because, yeah, most people are afraid. First of all, most of people are afraid of video and then live video is even worse. And, like you mentioned, yeah, you were 20 pounds overweight, but you just gave life. You just pushed a baby out of your body. And like, just the fact that your body has the capacity to give life to another human being is like a goal, like a success on its own. And instead of like feeling bad about ourselves, we should, like you mentioned, be a little bit kinder to ourselves. Like we wouldn't treat our best friend like that. You wouldn't be like so mean to your best friend after gaining 20 pounds, after having a baby. You would be like, you just had a baby. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those things where like, no, I won't buy anything for myself until I lose all this weight. And it's like, girl, just cut yourself some slack.
Yeah, and the more like authentic you are about it too, like people can relate to you, because it's not like, this is something that most women deal with after they have a baby. And the more you can say like, this is me after having a baby, and I still love myself, and this is what mothers look like after having a baby. Not all of them, but most of them are like that, and it's fine, right? Like we just have to accept ourselves for who we all are. And because of that realization, what's your life been like now?
It's been amazing. I think when you make that mind shift of, okay, I'm no longer who I am when I was 25. And that's a good thing, because the thoughts and the programming that I had at 25 got me to where I needed to be. But now that I'm older and wiser and I have my own family and values, I feel like I'm just making waves into this new evolution of who I can be. So if anything, Sheena, it's like, I give thanks to where I was before, and I look forward to where I'll be in the next few years.
Thanks for sharing that. And it's crazy what happens when you just look back and see like, 25-year-old self versus like 35-year-old self, right? And it's a big change. And, you just have to realize like you've gone so far, and yet you're still here, doing what you love, still healing, still working on yourself, still, accepting new challenges and learning to overcome them, because this is what confidence is about. It's just like this lifelong journey of becoming stronger and becoming more courageous. So thanks for sharing that. And if our listeners, we're tuning into your episode and they're in a similar journey to self-confidence, what would be that one tip you'd give to them?
When it comes to self-confidence, I think when you know what you're really good at, and just keep reminding yourself, like, this is what I'm known for, this is what I'm good at, versus focusing on things that you're not good at. Because when you have a circle of friends that you could reach out to and be like, hey, you know what? I know live streaming like the back of my hand, but when it comes to like LinkedIn ads, that's where I don't mind reaching out to other people. And I think when you come to that discovery that you could reach out to other people, that helps you out in terms of just honoring who you are and what you're confident in.
Thanks for sharing that. And, I like what you mentioned, focusing on what you're really good at, because sometimes we feel like, we're bad at everything, but, we do have something to offer. And, I recently read a book where, they tell you to list your assets. And the more you can list of things that you're good at, the more you realize like you're a lot more capable than you ever thought you would be. So I think that's a great tip. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do and check out some of your work, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
The best way to hang out would be lightscameralive.com. That's where I share all the tips and tricks on how to level up with live video. So if that's where you want to get some resources, that's the best place. If you want to hang out like behind the scenes and see what I'm geeking out on, then come find me on Facebook. I have a Facebook group called Social Media Strategist, and that's where I'm usually testing out like what's working and what's not working when it comes to advertising.
Thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Stephanie, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Stephanie's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Stephanie today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Stephanie.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Not a problem. It was really great having you on the show today. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to get your daily boost of confidence.